Hi students, welcome back. Today let's discuss the last topic of digestive system, here called as the disorders of the digestive system. That is disorders of the gastrointestinal tract. Okay, to start with, it's first of all constipation. Constipation in the rectum, the bowel movements should happen. This is a fecal matter. Because of the proper bowel movements, this has to be discharged outside, expelled outside. That's called as defecation. But because of the various reasons, sometimes this fecal matter is retained in the rectum itself. In the rectum itself, the fecal matter is retained for the prolonged time. That's called as constipation. So what is constipation? The process by which the fecal matter is not discharged properly because of the improper or infrequent bowel movements. So what are the symptoms of constipation? One is the improper bowel movements in the rectum, and because of the prolonged detention of fecal matter in the rectum, the water is reabsorbed sometimes. Because it is not discharged outside, the fecal matter is not discharged outside. That's why even here in the rectum, water is squeezed out. And still this gets still more solidified. And the improper bowel movements, because of which what happens, the fecal matter is not discharged properly. That is called as constipation. So here, very solid form of fecal matter. Very solid form of fecal matter is defecated here. Very solid form. That's called as constipation. Now, what are the reasons for constipation? One is reasons, causes or reasons here. One is lack of intake of sufficient water, dietary fiber. Dietary fiber, that is the cellular, the material, plant fiber. The plant fiber is called as roughage. The roughage matter is improperly taken in the diet. That is lack of dietary fiber and lack of properly taking water. This is the foremost important reason. Next one is, of course, stress. Always stress also, and also because of some of the medications, because of intake of certain medications also, as a side effects of these medications also, there will be constipation. So here is a constipation, prolonged intake, retained. This fecal matter is retained in the rectum itself. Because of the prolonged retention, the rectal veins, the veins in the rectum, called as rectal veins, they get sometimes inflamed. The inflammation of these rectal veins causes a disease called as hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids. Now, what is by hemorrhoid? What is the common? There is a common name for hemorrhoids. All of you type in the comment box below. Now, what is the solution for the constipation? Where is the problem? Lack of water, lack of dietary intake. We should take more water, more dietary fiber, less stress, and few medications. That's the solution for constipation. Okay, one of the side effects of this constipation is which one? Hemorrhoids. Next one is, opposite of this one is a diarrhea. Let's discuss what is meant by diarrhea now. The second one is diarrhea. Okay, छोटे प्यारे नन्हे मुन्ने बच्चों, all of you, please type in the comment box below. What's your opinion? Number 2 is diarrhea. Opposite of constipation. In the constipation, what happens? Improper, infrequent bowel movements, isn't it? But here, very frequent bowel movements. There, infrequent, but here, frequent bowel movements. Frequent bowel movements. And that is the first point. The second point is increased liquidity of fecal discharge. Increased liquidity of fecal discharge. Whereas here, solidified. I told you that in the case of constipation, the fecal matter gets solidified because the water is squeezed out from the rectum, isn't it? But here, more liquidity that is the fecal matter, when it is discharged, it contains more liquid matter, water is lost from the human body here. That is because of the frequent bowel movements. That is here abnormal frequency of the bowel movements and the increased liquidity of the fecal discharge is called as diarrhea. These bowel movements are very abnormal, very common. They become more frequent and more liquid is discharged from the human body. So what are the reasons for this one? What are the causes of diarrhea? There is no, actually this is not a disease, particular disease. It is a manifestation of different diseases. It's a manifestation of different diseases. It can be, for example, you take cholera. Cholera is caused by bacteria called as Vibrio cholerae. Bacteria called as Vibrio cholerae which causes cholera. Because of cholera, the manifestation is a diarrhea. That is one. Number two is, it can be because of the giardiasis. Giardiasis is caused by a protozoan parasite called as Giardia intestinalis. Giardia intestinalis. It also can be caused because of different types of bacteria, viruses, or protozoans. Different types of, even worms, helminth worms. So many causes are there for diarrhea. Diarrhea is a manifestation where there is an abnormal frequency of bowel movements and increased liquidity of the fecal discharge, because of which the body water content is lost here. If this were to be continued, this is especially present in the children. Now see here, the Vibrio cholerae bacteria, Giardia intestinalis, bacteria, viruses, protozoan. What is common here? The contaminated drinking water, the contaminated food and drinking water. That is a common in children, especially the people present in the urban slums and rural areas. These children is more having the diarrhea symptoms. Now what is the solution, Bacho? What is the solution? Where is the problem? This must be, that is contaminated food and drinking water must be stopped here. And control of these mechanical vectors, houseflies, cockroaches must be there here. So that is about the diarrhea. Next one is this diarrhea in the extreme cases. Solution must, that is increased because of the abnormal increased liquidity of the fecal discharge. There is a loss of water from the human body. That is, the human body must be rehydrated by taking more water, more ORS solutions. In the emergency situations, even enema. Even intravenous. Patient can go for even for intravenous. What is enema? All of you type in the comment box below. In the extreme cases, the patient has to be administered with enema and also intravenous way. That's a solution for diarrhea in the emergency situations. Clear? That is the second one, and let's discuss the next point. Indigestion. So next one is indigestion. This is very common, isn't it? Indigestion. It is nothing but fullness in the stomach. Fullness in the stomach. There is a heaviness in the stomach. That's called as indigestion. Now, what are the reasons for, what are the causes of indigestion? The one is spicy food or heavy intake of food. Heavy intake of any food, or especially the spicy food, is the most common reason. And especially the stress, anxiety, and worries. Because stress releases a hormone called as cortisol. Whenever there is a stress, which organ is the first to be affected? It is the gastrointestinal tract. The first organ to be affected because of stress is the gastrointestinal tract. And that is because of the release of the cortisol hormone, because of which there may be some indigestion. That is the second reason. And second reason is as a side effects of different medicines, side effects of different medications, or any diseases, some other diseases, any disorders, gastrointestinal disorders, or side effects of different medications, or stress, or spicy food. These are the reasons for indigestion. Next one is vomiting, the fourth one. See here, this is a esophagus, stomach. Actually, down the foot, in this direction, the foot is down to the peristalsis. Because of the muscular contractions and relaxations of the smooth muscles. But because of the various disorders, diseases, etc., various reasons, there is a reverse peristalsis manifested here. Reverse peristalsis. Reverse peristalsis. That is, the contents of the stomach are flowing in the opposite direction. Not peristalsis means downward direction, reverse peristalsis means in the opposite direction. The contents of the stomach are flowing in the opposite direction here. That is, the contents of stomach are expelled out to the mouth, passing via the esophagus, and that is called as vomiting or emesis. Vomiting also as emesis here. This is a reflex action. This reverse peristalsis is a reflex action. Reflex action controlled by the vomiting center. Controlled by the vomiting center present in medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata. So where is the vomiting center present? It is present in the medulla oblongata, present at the basal region of the skull, isn't it? So this is the vomiting center called as medulla oblongata, which controls the reflex action of the vomiting. Vomiting sensation is called as nausea. That is, nausea is a vomiting sensation. A feeling of vomiting sensation is there, always which precedes the vomiting here. And vomiting center is present in the medulla oblongata. Now, what are the reasons for vomiting? It can be many reasons, many diseases and disorders, many infections. So it's not a disease. Vomiting is not a disease. It's a manifestation of different diseases. Isn't it? Many or disorders of the gastrointestinal tract, or even medication side effects of different medications, or many other reasons are there for the vomiting and vomiting sensations here. Okay. Next one is jaundice. Jaundice is also not a disease, but it's a manifestation of different liver disorders. Liver disorders called as jaundice. It can be because of the hepatitis, cirrhosis, etc. Jaundice is affected. Overall, the pigment called as bile pigment, what is here? Bilirubin. Bilirubin is secreted by the bile juice of the liver, and it is actually metabolized by the intestine, then it is going to the fecal matter. In the previous session, I already told you the bilirubin from the liver to the blood, intestine. In the intestine, it is converted to the which one? Two pigments here. One is a urochrome, urobilinogen, and stercobilinogen. And this goes out as here stercobilin to the fecal matter. This goes as urochrome to the urine filtered by the kidneys. In the last session we were discussing here. Here we are not bothered about this one. Fecal. This stercobilin, that is bilirubin is converted into stercobilinogen, which is converted to stercobilin and released out to the fecal matter. That is why the brownish reddish pigment, yellowish brown pigment to the fecal feces is because of the stercobilin. But because of the various liver disorders, the stercobilin is not going. The stercobilin is not released along with the fecal matter. That is, the fecal matter in the case of jaundice, is not having the yellowish brown coloration. That is the first symptom of jaundice. The first symptom of jaundice is the fecal matter do not have the yellowish brown coloration. Is not having the coloration. Okay, that is first one. And instead, the pigment called as here stercobilin, okay, is now released to the skin and the sclera part of the eye. What is sclera part of the eye? The white part of the eye is called as sclera. So this pigment is going to various parts of the skin and also white part of the eye, and also here, that is why this turns into the yellowish one. That is skin and sclera part, white part of the eye becomes yellowish because of this deposition of this pigment. And this pigment is also going along with the urine. That's why urine in the jaundice patients turns yellowish in color, brownish yellow color here because of this reason. So this, instead of going in the normal human beings, what happens? The fecal matter contains a stercobilin, but in the jaundice patients, the fecal matter do not have this pigment. That is why the fecal matter do not have this yellowish brown color. Instead, this pigment is going through which one? Skin. The skin turns yellowish. The white part of the eye is called as sclera, turns yellowish. The urine turns yellowish here. And these are the symptoms of jaundice. Other symptoms of jaundice are anorexia. Anorexia means loss of appetite. Loss of appetite means hunger. There is no hunger for these jaundice patients. So these are the symptoms of jaundice here. Okay, students. Next one is malnutrition. Is given in NCERT. Malnutrition. Malnutrition, here lack of nutrients, especially in the children, manifested especially in countries like India. And this malnutrition means lack of calories or proteins in the children. That's called as malnutrition. And that is a lack of sufficient intake of this nutritious food. Lack of balanced diet, that is the main reason for malnutrition disorders. There are chiefly two disorders are there for the malnutrition. One is called as marasmus. Other is a kwashiorkor. Marasmus and kwashiorkor are the main disorders under malnutrition. This marasmus is manifested in the children below 1 year. And this is 1 to 5 years of age. Was first point. The second point is marasmus is manifested in the children who are having the protein calorie undertake. That is, they do not take, the children who do not take sufficient quantities of protein, and they lack, the diet also lacks the calories. The calories are not there because the food is not there. Okay, not to speak of only the proteins here. The proteins are not there. The calories, that is energy, is totally lacking here. The carbohydrate food is lacking. The fat food is lacking. The protein food is also lacking. That's why it's called as a protein calorie undertake. Undernutrition is present here. The protein, that is called as marasmus. Whereas in the kwashiorkor, here calories are present. Calorie intake is there, but the protein intake is not sufficient here. But here, the protein intake is not there, calorie intake is also not there. That's called as marasmus. Whereas in the kwashiorkor, calorie intake is there. For example, carbohydrate intake is there, but here the protein diet is lacking here. Now, what are the symptoms of marasmus? Let's discuss now. Symptoms. The symptoms of marasmus, here impaired growth, because this is the protein calorie problem here. Protein calorie in the diet. Lack of proteins, lack of calories in the diet. So impaired growth is there. There is no growth proper growth in the children here. Number 2 is replacement of tissue proteins. Replacement of tissue proteins. Prominent ribs. The ribs become prominent. That is, more developed ribs are there, prominent ribs, but thin limbs. The limbs are very, very thin. And this is called as emaciated body. Emaciated body here. This is called as emaciated body. Next one is Skin. The skin is very dry, wrinkled, and very thin skin. And next one is diarrhea symptoms starts here. Diarrhea symptoms. So, what are the symptoms of marasmus? There is an impaired growth because of the lack of protein diet, replacement of tissue proteins because of the lack of protein diet, and prominent ribs. The ribs are developing more, but the limbs are very thinner. That's called as emaciated body. The skin becomes dry, wrinkled, and thin, and the diarrhea symptoms are developing in these children of marasmus. Now, what is symptoms of kwashiorkor? Here, the lack of protein diet. Here, calorie intake is there, but there is a lack of protein diet. What is symptoms of this one? Here also, the retarded growth of body and brain. The brain and body are not developed properly. And there is a wasting of muscles. Wasting of muscles. Because proteins are responsible for bodybuilding. Because the protein diet is not normal, there is a wasting of muscles. Reddish hair. Reddish hair. The hair turns reddish. Pot belly. The belly becomes pot. Pot here. Pot belly. Isn't it? Next one is, there is a special edema. What is meant by edema? Swelling. The limbs develop more water. The limbs develop. Example, legs develop more accumulation of water, more deposition of water in the limbs, and therefore a special edema develops in these patients. And limbs become very thin. Thin limbs are present. And here also diarrhea symptom starts. Here also diarrhea. So what is symptoms of kwashiorkor? Retarded growth of body and brain, wasting of muscles, the reddish hair develops, pot belly, and special edema develops in the limbs because of the deposition of water in the limbs, especially the legs, thin limbs, and here diarrhea symptoms starts here. Diarrhea symptoms starts here are manifested in kwashiorkor patients here. So overall, the children becomes very weak, lethargic. There is no proper growth. And if this is untreated, the children will die also here. So this is called as malnutrition disorder here. So this one is a ending of this chapter called as digestion and absorption. And in the next lecture, we'll be coming up with the breathing and exchange of gases. Bye, students. Okay.